Hello, we are glad to have you here. Blade Flurry is a very interesting melee skill that requires channeling to deal damage. While doing so, you will repeatedly hit enemies in front of you, improving your damage with every stage you gain. When you stop channeling, you will deal a massive finishing hit to all enemies in the area. As for the weapon, we use the Anarchic Spirit Blade, which is a specific heist-only base for a one-handed sword. It comes with a special implicit that converts 100% of your physical damage to a random element. This allows us to benefit from multi-elemental setups such as Trinity Support or the Interrogation Jewel. Pathfinder is Ranger's Ascendancy, known for its Flask improvements. With this ascendancy and some investments in your gear and passive tree, you will be able to sustain all your Flask even without killing any enemy, and they will have significantly improved effectiveness. Elemental Flasks will not only easily cap your resistances, allowing you to get more damage affixes on your gear, but they also significantly lower the elemental damage you take on top of that. Ever since the removal of Archnemesis, you can easily avoid Flask reduction modifiers on your map mods or Eldritch Altars if you pay enough attention. Blade Flurry is one of the best melee skills when it comes to single target damage, but the clear speed potential is a bit lacking. There are two main ways to help with that. The first one is to simply get more attack speed or to get some sort of explosion effects. You will have lots of defensive layers such as a high evasion rating, capped spell suppression chance, fortify, and sources of physical damage taken as elemental. A decent life pool on top of that makes it a very durable build overall. With proper investments, you will have a decent clear speed, but it still struggles with high density packs. The damage against single enemies is very high. High durability also comes to play here, as you can safely channel your Blade Flurry. Not having to worry about resistances on your gear greatly lower the total cost, but it is still a quite expensive build. There are only a few unique items you should aim to get, and some are more important than others. The most notable is the Abyssus Helmet, which grants you an immense damage boost but also makes you more vulnerable to physical damage. The aforementioned Abyssus Helmet provides an insane amount of damage for any melee build, including this one. The massive amounts of flat physical damage and melee critical strike multiplier are unmatched by any other helmet. It also grants all attributes, which can be pretty handy. Getting useful enchant shouldn't be too hard since it's a fairly popular item. The Dawnbreaker is a good way to get lots of physical damage taken as elemental, especially if you get one with similar corrupted implicit modifiers. The high block chance is also useful, however it reduces rapidly as you will take a bit of fire damage from every hit. This ring grants a lot of damage and maximum life. To boost the damage bonus, you can use the Abrasive Catalyst, which will increase all attack modifiers on this item. You can use a double influenced ring item to get both bonuses, but just the Shaper one is good enough. The regular elemental ailments are not as useful as the alternative ones provided with this jewel. Those can massively boost your critical strike chance and reduce all elemental resistances of affected enemies. They will also lower their damage dealt, so it is a truly all-in-one option. The Lethal Pride socketed nearby the Acrobatic Keystone can give you lots of additional benefits on affected notables. The most important ones to get are the double damage chance to intimidate enemies with hits, and physical damage taken as fire. If you get the Thread of Hope jewel with the massive ring variation, you can pick up a lot of useful notables that would be too inefficient to pick up the usual way. The benefits are not that huge, so you should buy this jewel only when you try to min-max your character. Precision's modifier that grants you flask charges is not required for 100% flask sustain under normal circumstances, but it can be helpful if you want to take the risk of running certain map modifiers. You can also get the other precision modifiers that boost your damage, or get a bit of spell suppression chance with the grace modifiers. You will need only a tiny amount of elemental resistances on your gear, so you can focus mostly on maximum life, spell suppression chance, and mana reservation efficiency there. You will need the Anarchic Spirit Blade to get an easy way of converting physical damage, and to further boost your damage you should try to get as much attack speed, elemental damage, and critical strike multiplier everywhere you can. High physical DPS is important, but you should focus mostly on good base attack speed and critical strike chance, as you will have lots of added physical damage from the Abyssus helmet and Blade Flurry gem itself. You can get a bit of damage on your rare shield, but it is best to focus on defensive properties here. Try to get high maximum life, flat physical damage reduction, and maximum resistances modifiers. You can also get the Shaper's modifier to reduce the mana reservation efficiency of socketed auras. Try to get lots of life and spell suppression chance on your body armor, ideally with essence crafted mana reservation efficiency and physical damage reduction on top of that. You should also get Eldritch implicits that grant you flask charges over time and a chance to fortify on hit. On your rare boots you can get mostly defensive modifiers such as maximum life and spell suppression chance. Other than that, look for attributes, lacking resistances, and ailment avoidances. Eldritch implicits are also very useful here. Your gloves should provide you with plenty of maximum life, spell suppression chance, and some attack speed. You can also get rage generation, useful damage affixes, or accuracy rating here. A bit of elemental or chaos resistances would be good to have too. A good rare belt is a very important piece for your flask sustain. You should get at least 2 modifiers that affect them, paired with maximum life bonus. It can also have other useful modifiers such as elemental damage with attacks or lacking resistances or attributes. Try to get a corrupted abyss jewel that would grant you immunity to corrupted blood. Other than that, look for maximum life, critical strike multiplier, and attack speed bonuses here. It can also fix your missing resistances or attributes if needed. You should get maximum life, elemental damage, and lacking resistances or attributes on your rare ring. Try to find one with an empty prefix so you can craft mana reduction for your skills. 2 of such modifiers can make your leap slam completely free to use. The Shaper Influenced Amulet allows you to get up to 2 modifiers that add extra elemental damage based on your physical damage. Other than that, look for maximum life, critical strike multiplier, resistances, or attributes. As for anointment, you should get the Whispers of Doom to get an additional curse, or Mark the Prey if you don't like casting too much. Your rare jewels should be used to boost your maximum life, critical strike multiplier, attack speed, or mana reservation efficiency. You can also get a bit of elemental resistances or attributes here. You can also get useful ailment avoidances to certain elements. You will be using 2 jewels that boost your damage with swords. There are plenty of useful notables that boost your damage but also come with some utility, such as Fuel the Fight which grants you Mana Leech, or Aggressive Defense which boosts your Fortify effect. If you don't like the dependency on the brittle effect, you can use a medium cluster jewel that boosts your critical strike chance and damage. It will cost you extra passive skill points but grants more steady output. During the Taste of Hate flask effect you will deal extra cold damage and take some of the physical damage as cold instead. It is a sapphire flask so it also grants you tons of cold resistances and additional mitigation against that element. The Bottled Faith grants you a lot of damage and critical strike chance against enemies standing in the consecrated ground. It works best with the enchant that triggers this flask when you hit the enemy, as it provides almost no benefits when you are outside the consecrated ground. The Progenesis is an amazing defensive flask that offers a damage intake delay similar to the Petrified Blood Aura. The only downside here is its price, as it is a very rare drop. All your magic flasks should have the Alchemist prefix which increases their effect by up to 25% but lowers their duration. With proper investments you will have 100% uptime on them anyway. Our recommended flask setup consists of Ruby Flask with additional elemental resistances, Topaz Flask with evasion rating bonus, and a Silver Flask with attack speed bonus. Blade Flurry continuously hits enemies in front of you, gaining stages that increase your damage. At the end of the channel it releases a more powerful hit to all enemies in the area. The Pulverize support significantly improves your area of effect, but slows your attack speed. You can swap it with increased critical damage support if the attack speed penalty is too heavy to your liking. The newly released Vol version of this skill can be very helpful to improve your clear speed. Ancestral Warchief summons a totem that improves your damage when you are standing close to it. The Vol version grants an even better damage bonus and makes your totem follow you if you are too far away. Similar to the previous one, Ancestral Protector summons a melee totem. This one will grant you tons of attack speed during its duration. You will need the multiple totem support to summon both of those totems at once to maximize their buffs. It is quite annoying to keep them alive at all times, but you need them only during the boss fights. Leap Slam is your main mobility skill. It causes you to jump into the air and land at the targeted location. It scales very well with your high attack speed. The faster attack support makes your movement even better and smoother. If you don't have jewelry that would lower the mana cost, consider using the life tap support to be able to freely spam this skill. Grace is your main defensive aura. It adds a lot of evasion rating and allows you to scale it very high. Herald of Purity improves your physical damage, which is your main source of damage. Summoned Sentinels don't do much, but they can distract your enemies fairly well. Summoned Skitterbots are used to inflict shock and chill effects on nearby enemies even when you use the interrogation jewel. Blood and Sand is a stance skill that grants you a lot of area damage or area of effect depending on the stance you are in. Precision Aura grants lots of accuracy rating and critical strike chance. Try to keep it at the lowest level possible that still grants you a 100% chance to hit. You will need the Enlightened support linked with your most mana-consuming auras to reduce their reservation. Assassin's Mark grants you a bonus critical strike chance and damage against marked enemies. It will also generate power charges for you. Elemental Weakness lowers all elemental resistances of cursed enemies. For maximum effect, you should cast this curse manually. The Mark on Hit support will automatically cast that skill on rare and unique enemies, but there is no easy way to automate the elemental weakness without losing tons of effectiveness on it. The life tap is there to ensure you won't run out of mana after a single cast. Steelskin applies a buff that absorbs part of incoming damage and disables bleeds on you. It has a very low cooldown, so the usefulness of this skill quickly adds up over time. Blood Rage constantly drains your life but grants a lot of attack speed in return. Killing enemies refreshes its duration so you don't have to worry about it too much. Berserk rapidly consumes your rage to grant you insane amounts of damage. It also reduces the damage you receive from enemies. You will need the Eldritch implicit on your gloves to generate rage for this skill. You should kill all bandits in the second act to get 2 bonus passive skill points. Helping Alira is also acceptable to make early progress easier, but you should ultimately refund it later. Soul of the Brine King grants you immunity to freeze and stun lock avoidance. It also reduces the chill effect, which tends to hurt your attack speed pretty noticeably. For the minor Pantheon power, we recommend the Soul of Shikari, which greatly reduces the chaos damage you take. Stacking chaos resistance is quite demanding, even if you have your elemental resistances covered by flasks. Leveling with this build is fairly simple, as you can use any elemental attack to your liking. Blade Flurry is not really suitable as it needs lots of attack speed to comfortably kill packs of monsters. Your passive tree focuses mostly on maximizing your maximum life, elemental damage with swords, and spell suppression chance. You will also pick up a bit of mana reservation efficiency and some flask notables. The only keystone you are going to use is the Secrets of Suffering, which comes from the interrogation jewel. It disables your usual elemental ailments but allows you to inflict sap, brittle, and scorch with your critical strikes. The Pathfinder Ascendancy greatly boosts the effects of your flasks and their sustain. You will also remove any bleeding effect and heal a few % of your life whenever you use a flask. The Lethal Pride is used to gain many useful modifiers on top of the native bonuses from affected notables. Its bonuses are quite random, but it will always give you plenty of strength, which is helpful when you need that attribute to wear your gear. Socketing the Thread of Hope near the Supreme Ego Keystone will give you access to many notables you wouldn't pick up otherwise. 2 of them are also in range on the Lethal Pride, making it a bit easier to find a really useful one. That's everything we have for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If so, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, or comment. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.